αναφέρεται στην ομιλία της και τι θέλει να παρουσιάσει σήμερα, τι θέλει να... ποιος είναι ο σκοπός της παρουσίασης.
Tu peux commencer par nous expliquer pour quelles raisons nous sommes là aujourd'hui, le programme. Tu vas présenter le programme B-Green, parler de cette initiative, de ce programme Erasmus.
Donc B-Green est un projet qui se déroule sur 2 années. Nous avons démarré en novembre 2021 et jusqu'en novembre 2023. Et la thématique principale de notre projet, c'est l'environnement et sa protection. Donc nous travaillons sur plusieurs thématiques, la biodiversité, les transports écologiques, le réchauffement climatique.
Ναι, το πρόγραμμα αυτό έχει ξεκινήσει τον Νοέμβριο του 2021, θα τελειώσει τον Νοέμβριο του 2023, είναι 2 χρόνια που διαρκεί. Βρισκόμαστε εδώ κυρίως γιατί η θεματολογία είναι η κλιματική αλλαγή, η αειφόρος ανάπτυξη και η γενικότερη περιβαλλοντική εκπαίδευση.
Μέσα στα σχολεία μπορεί αυτό να αναπτυχθεί περισσότερο
Βεβαίως,
και σε εκπαιδευτικούς και σε μαθητές να θέλει να μας πει με ποιους τρόπους.
Βεβαίως. Est-ce que dans les écoles, vous avez développé ce programme avec quel type d'activité? Qu'est-ce que vous avez fait exactement pour promouvoir la thématique générale et spéciale du programme?
Donc l'ensemble des partenaires a réalisé des différentes leçons par rapport aux thématiques dont on a parlé précédemment. Et nous avons également testé en classe et nous souhaitons que les élèves prennent conscience de l'environnement et de sa protection à travers cette thématique qui est le projet B-Green.
Ναι, έχουν αναπτύξει δραστηριότητες μέσα στις τάξεις, έχουν φτιάξει διάφορες δραστηριότητες, ασκήσεις με τους μαθητές μέσα στις τάξεις, είναι μαθητές λυκείου κυρίως και έχουν δουλέψει πάνω σε όλες τις θεματικές, οι οποίες είναι και, υπάρχουν θεματικές και υποθέματα τα οποία ασχολούνται μέσα στα σχολεία τους όλο αυτό το διάστημα. Όλοι οι καθηγητές από 6 χώρες, από 5 χώρες, η έκτη χώρα είναι η Ελλάδα, το I.A.K.E που φιλοξενεί το πρόγραμμα, δεν το είπε η κυρία Ντουλούγκ, θα το πει τώρα, να την αφήσουμε να μας πει. Vous pouvez parler de l'I.A.K.E, de l'Institut.
Donc en parallèle avec toute la réalisation des leçons, l'Institut I.A.K.E promouvoit toutes ces leçons à travers un site web dont il a la charge et nous souhaitons que tout ce travail réalisé soit diffusé en Europe et dans le monde entier.
Ναι, μας ανέφερε ότι το Ινστιτούτο Ανθρωπιστικών και Κοινωνικών Σπουδών είναι ο φορέας ο οποίος στηρίζει και αυτή τη στιγμή έχει επιφορτωθεί με την παρουσίαση όλου αυτού του προγράμματος, έτσι ώστε να υπάρξει και η διάχυση σε όλη την Ευρώπη και στις χώρες που εμπλέκονται και σε όσους ενδιαφέρονται να δουν το πρόγραμμα αυτό.
Κάτι να συμπληρώσει θα ήθελε για να ολοκληρώσουμε.
Vous voulez compléter quelque chose?
Donc, au nom de l'ensemble des partenaires qui sont venus à I.A.K.E, je tiens à remercier l'Institut I.A.K.E pour tout le travail effectué et le très bon accueil que l'on a eu jusqu'à présent. Et voilà.
Θέλει να ευχαριστήσει θερμά το I.A.K.E, το Ινστιτούτο Ανθρωπιστικών και Κοινωνικών Σπουδών, για την θερμή αυτή υποδοχή και για όλες τις εργασίες που γίνονται εδώ για να προωθηθεί το πρόγραμμα Erasmus, το B-Green. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ.
Ήθελα να εκφράσω την απόλυτη ικανοποίησή μου για την επιτυχία που αποτυπώνεται τις 2 αυτές μέρες στο Πολιτιστικό Συνεδριακό Κέντρο του Δήμου Ηρακλείου. Το συνέδριό μας βρίσκεται σε εξέλιξη. Αυτή τη στιγμή έχουμε θεματικές οι οποίες καταγράφουν και εμπλέκονται, όπως ξέρετε, με τη γενική θεματική, το γενικό τίτλο του συνεδρίου. Θα ήθελα όμως να μιλήσω ξεχωριστά για τα συμπόσια που σήμερα πραγματοποιούνται από το πρωί. 2 πολύ σημαντικά συμπόσια, το Big Green, το οποίο ήδη περιγράφηκε, για το περιβάλλον, την κλιματική αλλαγή και τη σύνδεσή του με τον άνθρωπο, αλλά και ένα επίσης πολύ σημαντικό συμπόσιο που έχει να κάνει με την αποτύπωση της κρίσης και πώς ο άνθρωπος βίωσε όλο αυτό, ιδιαίτερα οι νέοι, οι οποίοι, αν μιλήσουμε για τη μοναξιά που βιώνουν σε διάφορα περιβάλλοντα, αυτή κορυφώθηκε τα 2 αυτά χρόνια και αυτό εκφράζεται με διάφορες μορφές συμπεριφοράς, οι οποίες φυσικά έχουν τις μεγαλύτερες επιπτώσεις στον ίδιο τους τον εαυτό.
Παρακαλούμε όνομα, επίθετο ιδιότητα και ξεκινάμε.
Τζένι Ψαλτάκη, γραμματέας καινοτόμων προγραμμάτων και διεθνών συμπράξεων του Ινστιτούτου Ανθρωπιστικών και Κοινωνικών Επιστημών και συντονίστρια του προγράμματος Big Green για το I.A.K.E.
ποιες είναι οι ομιλίες που πραγματοποιείτε σήμερα, τι αναδεικνύεται σήμερα μέσα από τη δεύτερη ημέρα, ποια είναι η συμμετοχή σας, τι θέλετε να προβάλλετε εσείς σήμερα που συμμετέχετε.
Σήμερα έχουμε τη χαρά να φιλοξενήσουμε εδώ στην Κρήτη τους εταίρους μας από ένα ευρωπαϊκό πρόγραμμα Εράσμους ΚΑΠΑ 220 σχολικής σύμπραξης, με εταίρους από την Γαλλία, την Ισλανδία, την Τουρκία, τη Βουλγαρία και την Ιταλία. Βρίσκονται εδώ, θα ξεκινήσουμε τώρα το συνέδριό μας. Θα αναφερθούμε σε όλα τα παραγόμενα και σε όλες τις δράσεις που έχουν υλοποιηθεί και πρόκειται να υλοποιηθούν το επόμενο διάστημα. Και παράλληλα θα έχουμε online συνδέσεις με άτομα από την Ισλανδία, την Σουηδία και την Πολωνία που θα μας μιλήσουν για την περιβαλλοντική εκπαίδευση στις χώρες τους.
Ποιος είναι ο σκοπός αυτής της επικοινωνίας που θα έχετε, τι θα προκύψει από αυτό?
Θέλουμε να ευαισθητοποιήσουμε καταρχήν τους μαθητές μας και φυσικά όλη την τοπική κοινωνία όλης της Ευρώπης πάνω στην κλιματική αλλαγή, την αειφορία και να γίνουμε καλύτεροι πολίτες στις χώρες μας. Ενεργοί πολίτες στις χώρες μας πάνω σε θέματα κλιματικής αλλαγής.
You can say whatever you want.
Yes. Okay. I will introduce myself. And I am a French teacher in my school, I.A.K.E Vitale Giordano in Bitonto, South Italy. And our school has a long tradition about Erasmus. We had almost 15 Erasmus in the past, and we will continue because Erasmus is a way of discovering cultures, different schools, places, so we are fond of Erasmus.
Λοιπόν, είναι καθηγήτρια γαλλικής στο σχολείο I.A.K.E Vitale Giordano στην Ιταλία. Το σχολείο της έχει συμμετάσχει αρκετές φορές στα προγράμματα Erasmus, μέχρι τώρα 15 στον αριθμό και έπεται συνέχεια διότι ενδιαφέρονται σε ζητήματα τα οποία αφοράνε στη διαφορετικότητα των πολιτισμών, των χωρών, των ανθρώπων και γι' αυτό και τα κυνηγάνε.
Πολύ ωραία. Κάτι άλλο να πούμε?
Do you have anything else to add?
Yes, I would like to focus on students. Students are very happy to be part of Erasmus projects because they have the occasion to discover, to travel, to establish new friendships, new friends. So our students are our support about Erasmus.
Ωραία, λοιπόν, εδώ εστιάζει αυτή τη φορά στην ομιλία της, στο λόγο της, στα λόγια της στους μαθητές. Πάντα ενδιαφέρονται να ερευνούν, να ανακαλύπτουν, να συμμετέχουν, να κάνουν φιλίες από άλλες χώρες. Αυτά.
Σήμερα είναι η δεύτερη μέρα που συνεχίζεται με πολύ μεγάλη επιτυχία το ένατο συνέδριο. Αυτή τη στιγμή είναι σε εξέλιξη το συμπόσιο των Γερμανών επιστημόνων που διοργανώνεται από το Πανεπιστήμιο του Σάλτσμπουργκ και από άλλα γερμανικά πανεπιστήμια. Αμέσως μετά θα ξεκινήσει το Big Green, ένα άλλο συμπόσιο το οποίο έχει να κάνει με την αειφορία και την οικολογική και περιβαλλοντική συνείδηση. Και στη συνέχεια θα ταυτόχρονα γίνονται παράλληλες συνεδρίες σε όλες τις αίθουσες. Έχουμε πολύ μεγάλη συμμετοχή κόσμου όπως βλέπετε και θεωρούμε ότι άλλο ένα συνέδριο έχει στεφτεί με απόλυτη επιτυχία. Είμαστε υπερήφανοι και ευχαριστούμε τον κόσμο που αγκαλιάζει τα συνέδρια του I.A.K.E και έχουμε τόσο μεγάλη συμμετοχή εκπαιδευτικών αλλά και απλού κόσμου που έρχεται να ενημερωθεί για πολύ ενδιαφέροντα ζητήματα που απασχολούν τις συνεδρίες του συνεδρίου.
Thank you so much for being here as well. Just spontaneously, my name is I.A.K.E. I'm from the University of Applied Science Niederrhein, that is close to Cologne, Düsseldorf in Germany. And we work together in a similar field on radicalization. And I'm very pleased to be here in this session that is in CRETE, in Iraqion, but in a very international session now.
Good morning, I'm Jenny Psaltaki. I'm the Secretary of Innovative Programs and Advancement of Humanities and Social Sciences, and also I am the coordinator of I.A.K.E at Big Green Erasmus project that we are glad today to have our multiplier event here in Greece.
Thank you, good morning also. I am Louis-Henri Secois. I'm from the University of Hamburg, and I am the director of the Center for Migration Research and Integration Practices there.
Good morning, I'm Corinne. I'm the main coordinator of the project Big Green, an Erasmus project, and I'm a teacher in a high school in south of Paris.
A socioeconomic background or in the need of special support. Learning through our senses is habitual and something that we all have in common. Of course, children have learned through the senses from the beginning of sensory integration purposefully for children to access, explore and adapt experiences. The aim of the project being to develop an understanding among teachers and working methods and how to proprioception, it is learning, experiencing where your body parts are situated in a space. Yoga can be an excellent example, but also... So, this project was divided into 3 different time periods. During our first time period, we were focusing on inclusion through sensory integration and literacy. During our second time period, we were focusing on inclusion through sensory integration in outdoor education. And during our third time period, we were focusing on inclusion through sensory integration, making this become real. So the children here are bringing hula hoops, rings and balls to the slope in the playground, and here you can see them taking the tires to a slope nearby. And also, why do we have all the balls air-filled? There is truly a difference between throwing an airless ball and an air-filled ball into the air or the ground. Considering literacy, now when we are moving on to our third time period, we were exploring inclusion through sensory integration, creativity and a beautiful, inspiring learning environment.
Natural world. So that's a part of the process, which is all provided for in our in-core curriculum on the very first level, intelligence, everything that affects our lives and education nowadays. So it's going to be the revision, and I write an article about that for the conference book, and, about the optimal learning path, about the relationship between man and nature, challenges of the global.
As the main coordinator, I will present you our project, Be Green. My school is in south of Paris. It's about 25 kilometers. And what we were doing during the last year, I will split different parts. The presentation of our project. No, that way, okay. So we start to work in November 2023. It's a collaboration between different schools in Europe from different... Why this topic? Because by 2050, Europe aims to become the world's first climate neutral.
School, I have some teachers and I asked their help. So to increase the quality of activities and they PhD on environment, geography and biology, so it's good to build a sufficient team first and then to work together. Team creating is important. Özlem Karahan Özgün. She made a presentation at our school for many students, not just guests, many students in our schools too, because in our school, when we made some students, we want so many students to hear about projects, to join project activities. It's hard to work with a large group, but it increases quality. And then on the right side, you see some examples. He showed us about deforestation. That was something new for us. Yeah. Support from local authorities. We also asked help from our municipality. They are really interested in environmental projects and agriculture and
school staff and teachers. I would like to explain the meaning of the title of this speech. We love Apulia, our region, and we would like our young students to love it as much as we do. The neighborhoods and the football pitch or the center streets where they spend their days. Our students are often far from the natural environment. They live in the city, and when they see a farm animal, a sheep, it seems to be an event. Thus, even talking about sustainability does not apply. We have to find with students on sustainability in all disciplines. I will now briefly describe some examples of educational projects, some of which were carried out for the Erasmus BM project. First exhibition, experimentation and research activities in our greenhouse. Many classes in the first 2 years participate in this project. During these months, the students carried out all the cultivation practices activities. One of the activities planned for now was to have him lead the students in biomonitoring lichens on tree trunks.
But of course they have to cut down the trees and they have to have somewhere to live, they have to build houses and they have to have some meadows for the cattle and for the sheep to graze on. So now we have a very barren the vegetation in Iceland from the settlement has been destroyed. Not only by people, but we also have volcanic eruptions, we have avalanches, we have all sorts of natural disasters as well. So, and we're trying to put some of this back, and in 2011 we adopted a new curriculum, national curriculum for all school levels. The Icelandic preschool teacher who was speaking earlier, she was talking about outdoor education. And of course, kids in preschools, they do not have any textbooks or anything. They learn from the nature.
Explain his presentation now. And in our school we are trying to do everything and to implement by interesting way in this time of education. In our program participate in this project named Be Green because as you understand before, the idea is to use environmental topics and to put them in
That was held from 6th to 10th June 2022 here in Heraklion, and it was a promotion of ecosystem services and sustainable agriculture in cities and peri-urban. Teachers from participant countries participated, of course, and the final aim was a promotion of ecosystem services and sustainable methodologies presented in meaningful contexts in which the participants experienced the strategies being directly involved in activities such as peer teaching, peer tutoring, formal and non-formal education, and long life skill competencies, rural tourism on Crete. Let's move on to From Farm to Work. Workshop in an agrotourism and in a winery, organic viticulture, a traditional dairy farm, an organic olive oil farm, farm full of organic vegetables.
So this will be an extract from an online workshop that we held on the 1st of April in 22. So today we will simply do a short briefing of it with pictures and a short film. And my name is Erica and I work as a teacher.
My name is Maria Fabian and I work as an atelierista.
We both work in a Reggio Emilia-inspired preschool in the central Stockholm, Sweden.
So since we have a lack of time, I think we would forward this slide. I think this perhaps is the same that you spoke about, Anna from Iceland, about the project and so on, and why we think it's very important to work with this, the non-verbal languages as in sensory integration and all our senses. Okay. In our work with the music piece From a New World by Dvorak, a common activity within the eTwinning project, we set out on a journey where our bodies interacted with large paper sheets, exploring music, sound, touch, vision, and movement with 2 to 3-year-old children.
And in another setting, with our eldest, the 5 to 6-year-olds, we found ourselves involved with exploring and understanding the herb basil, as well as developing our literacy skills.
Is about, I speak about Kyoto Protocol in 1997, and then the last one, the Paris Agreement in 2016, and after the EU recovery programs that we spent active 2000 program, the recovery program. So there's some meeting in 1992 in Rio, when the people start thinking about what happened to the planet. We have a lot of problems of gas emissions. Put one frame about the climate change. It's the first one that the people that they worked about from United Nations, what will happen. Then hear that, yes, we live, but in healthy, but with harmony with nature. The second one is developed today must be written what will happen to the next generations, not to live today and this is the end of it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost coming to an end, but I think we have to give to ourselves maybe some few minutes to exchange about this, all these inputs. I don't know if you have the energy for that, but I will want to just to put some words on what Andreas just said, which is actually terrible, because and link it to some points of the presentation which have been done, because we are actually, what we have to know is that we are facing a cultural problem which is getting dramatic, because the change we are talking, the climate change we are talking about is the Anthropocene. It's the human-made climate change. So, and now, as Andreas just put it, we are making tricks. We are tricking with ourselves. So some questions have to be raised. And one of these questions is, what is the type of relationship we as human, we have to have with our environment if we want to save the planet. Because actually, we have been discussing these questions from an anthropocentric point of view. We don't want to acknowledge that we are part of the nature. There is no, this dualism between nature and human being, it's nothing, you know, we can't afford the problem like that. The other one is the one of the technological escalation. Shall we solve the Anthropocene problem with technology? That is another, I'm just asking question while hearing all what you have been saying. And yeah, not only you, but everybody, because now I don't think that is a matter of money, you know, it's a matter of culture. Which type of culture do we want to get in if we want to deal seriously with this issue, which is, and the third one is that we are talking of it from Europe, and it's okay with us still, but we are talking about climate change. In other places in this earth, on this earth, you have already the climate catastrophe. So it's not about getting into Paris goals and all these things. People are dying already there. So, and we are thinking about these issues most of the time locally, but there are global issues. So how to get out of national, state, or regional thinking and think about it, about these problems globally. So those are some challenges we have to keep in mind, and we as educators, as educational scientists, we are on the spot. We have to do what we can do in our micro or meso level, but I don't know, I am actually not very optimistic as far as these issues are concerned. But I don't know. We have now, I don't know if you have some questions. I've just put in these points like that to summarize things. But if you have some comments, some questions related to all what have been said, please just put it now. Yes, Andreas?
I maybe have one question, and then you can answer this complicated question. My question... Yeah, okay.
No, I just want to make some comments.
Okay, I have a question. Let's take the perspective of those groups who don't have the money and don't have the technology. The kids, I listened to, the children, I listened to a lot of talks here where children were educated, but they behaved with the nature. So from a relational point of view, I would ask, what did you learn by the children who are interacting with the ecosystem? So what did the researchers learn? What did the teachers learn? What did the educators learn? From their experience or from our students? Yeah, to everyone. I don't know if the online community is still there.
As you say, you refer about kids and children. That's the reason that globally we invest to the education to change the culture. We don't change the politics. We change, but we can change the education, the culture. Yeah. Now, all the Erasmus programs, most of them, they are dealing with environment. If one school now submit one program to achieve one program and they said how to teach, they will be failed. If you submit one program about environment, they have 100 possibilities more and more to win. So that's the reason that almost 20 million of Erasmus program was spent, most of them, to the environment. Now the people are awareness and more awareness, and without they didn't know, they push their governments to move or to take the decisions about the environment. The next Paris Agreement or in any other town that they submit, they not an agreement. They are estimate about the damage until now. And this My opinion is that will be happen before 2030. That's the reason that we invest all the time in a pre-primary school child and so on, and education, students and so on. This is the reason. At the same time, we put some pressure to the politics.
I know, but what do we learn by the students? What do we learn by the students?
We learn more, but we don't have the power to put it in action.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Now the comment, I guess.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
What you said earlier was clearly depicted in some presentations from colleagues, from guest colleagues from other countries. I just wanted to say that we are all responsible for what is going on in our planet, and young children are taught how to love, protect, and preserve nature, but as we grow older and when we become adults, because we get involved in daily and practical obligations, we sometimes lose the pace. So we definitely need some alarm clock to remind us, hello, think out of the box. There are other important things, more important than your daily life, because your car broke down, because you have no money to do something, I don't know what, okay? There are things we can do that are economic. We don't need money to save the planet. Instead, we save money protecting the planet. That's the truth. And that's all. I made some notes based on what you said earlier.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you are welcome. Thank you. Thank you also for your comments. Yes. Anna,
Yes,
did you want to say something? And then...
Yeah, I'm just really grateful for what you said about finding a children issue into the topic. Because as we were mentioning before, I think, on our preschool level, which is the early time and the earliest but the proper time for to set the bond with the nature, for to see the relationship and the love. So that's the time that later on we believe the children will care more. Listening about the Paris Agreement, about all those economics, it brings a kind of depressive attitude, actually. And if I put myself as a person, as a mother, as a teacher of those youngsters, but also as an educator for teachers, I think that we can put our attention and our effort into what we can do. So giving our time and energy into trying to set that bond, because that's the beginning. You can put a lot of money, you can teach them how to segregate, but there won't be their personal attitude and their personal efforts in the future without thinking about the love towards the world, about the love towards animals, about the relation with the plants. So when we observe kids, just like you said at the very beginning of the discussion here, when you look at the kids, you will know the answer. And as you said, Madam, we do not need money for that on our level, of course. On the upper, yes, but on the basic, just like we said, think globally but act locally. Do as much as you can in the place you are. That's what we really try to do by the sensory and the nature. And I'm really proud of my preschool colleagues today, of what you all said or not said, actually. Thank you for the voice and for the invitation today.
Thank you also, Anna. Thank you. Corinne, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. So I would like to add my thoughts about this, because you ask what we are learning from the children. So are we able to learn from the children, or are the children able to learn from us, because we are clinging to old paradigms, to old thoughts and old structures. So is it possible for us, who are socialized in old traditions, to teach children something new? I mean, we try to figure out what they need. We try, but do we really have the possibility to know something they should know for the future? So I think this is really it's a time of confusion where we see that the old structures don't work anymore, but we don't know where we are going. And we don't know what the children will need. So I think it's only about intuition. Yes, no, Andreas.
My question really goes back to the research of the relational approach. And the relational approach tells us that our model of monocausal relationships, so we teach them, they teach us, might be misleading. Because what I observed in the first talks, in Iceland, we studied in Iceland, and we saw kids approaching the nature. And this tells us something about the human-nature relationship.
Absolutely.
And it's quite more complex than an economic human-nature relationship. There are some new papers showing that the economic human-nature model doesn't work, that the pedagogical human-nature model doesn't work. So why not observing how people approach nature, build a relationship, and try by observation to learn from it. And this is the relational approach, the relational thinking, and a lot of talks reminded me of questions we have in education science, questions by Jean Piaget. How is the world created? By acting. And these basic questions come back, and I have the hope that we can learn something, but it's a relation, it's a communal influence. You even have to tell kids that they are wasting the nature.
But I think, okay, from their nature,
I know.
Children are acting intuitively right.
Exactly.
But we have this thought or this idea that there always has to be somebody adult to teach them how to act in the world. Yeah, but you are right. We should just turn the roles, switch the roles, and observe how kids are intuitively acting right with nature.
That's what I found interesting in all the talks.
I am sorry,
Thank
but
you.
I am sorry, but I won't agree with this discussion actually, because we are acting now like we have a lack of knowledge. We know actually what have to be done, but we have to do it. It's not like just burden this problem on children. We know what we should have to do in order to solve the problem, but we don't want to. The question is, are we ready to change our culture and our lifestyles in order to solve this problem? It's not a matter of kids. We know what we have to do. We know from the anthropological point of view that we have been doing things wrong. We have been putting ourselves at the center of everything as if we are gods and we can use everything as means to just to fit our needs, you know, but we are part of it. We are like worms, water, air, and everything is equal to us. And we have to put it in our mind and act like that. We know it actually, but how are we ready to take the steps we need for that? So we don't have to observe the kids. The kids are in interaction with us. They are growing in our culture, you know. So I think the problem is actually, are we ready to take that step? And we are, as the presentation of your homonym, Andrea just show it, we know everything. We know that it's going wrong. We know where we are going into a catastrophe, but we are not ready to give up our lifestyle. And that is the point. That is the problem. It's not for me like we don't have a deficit of knowledge. We know what to do, but we have to act, and we are not acting. I think it's the problem. Yes, Anna Sophia.
I totally agree with what you were saying. I just wanted to share, because what I really think is important for the children that we do let the children connect to nature. That's the generation that we need to bring up today. And I just wanted to share with you, as I did yesterday, that we are trying to do this through our senses. And as we had the participating countries in our project visiting us in Iceland, we tried this on our very own skin, as we visited different places to really take in the nature using our senses actively. And that was quite a different experience, how you connect to nature. And this is something that we have totally forgotten to do today. So I just wanted to mention this aspect of we not being enough connected to the nature any longer.
Okay. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think the way we are discussing about this thing, I see it's a serious thing. You know, it's a serious matter. And so I really thank you for this very interesting discussions and for all your inputs. I think we did it now. we deserve a break, and I wish you a nice afternoon again. So.